Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. So this is actually a new type of series that I'm going to be doing on my channel. So this is like a tarantula YouTuber care guide sort of thing for their own favourite tarantulas that they have in their own collections. So it's going to be featuring numerous different YouTubers. Some you'll know, some you won't know. There's going to be big ones, small ones, just to help people get to know each other, help people understand what they need for their tarantulas, how to look after them. So this will be ideal for beginners looking to know what they need to do for their tarantulas and when they get them and such like that. So to start off with this, obviously, you know my channel, so it's Black Wolf Ebz, obviously because you're on my channel. If you are actually new here, my channel does consist of tarantulas, reptiles, animals. I have ghost things going on as well. I do spiritual things. So I recently did a spiritual live where I did some oracle card reading sort of stuff. This is more of a fun sort of thing, not more of a serious thing, because I am nowhere near a pro at this. So yeah, so my channel is actually a mix of things. So yeah. So what actually got me into the hobby was actually Sidex. We got our house together, and at that time I was actually terrified of tarantulas, spiders, all the creepy stuff. And he had always wanted tarantulas, reptiles, stuff like that. Reptiles I have been absolutely fine with my whole life, whereas tarantulas, no. So it got to the point where he was like, Ebz, I'm going to buy some tarantulas, and I was like, oh my god. So he started keeping them, and it slowly brought me around to liking them, to the point where I actually did get my own. I have nowhere near as many as him. I've never had nowhere near as many as him, and I probably won't, but I've got to the point where I can actually be around them and do things with them. I can feed them, I can water them, I can film them, I can rehouse them, I can pack them, I can do everything. It's just I'm not at the level as he is with his type of tarantulas. So I've actually been keeping my own tarantulas for 3 years now, and keeping them in the house, it's knocking on around 3.5 years. So it took me about 6 to 8 months to get used to them, to be able to have my own. So my first tarantula was actually a Caribena Versicolor. It was bought for me by Sidex as a really tiny little sling, and we bought that from Birmingham Reptile and Pets while we was living in the West Midlands. I believe it was around £12, and it was so tiny and small. It was bright blue, stunning little bright blue thing, and I just loved it. So my top 3 sellers, places to buy tarantulas from, are obviously the Spider Shop. Everyone knows the Spider Shop in the UK. There is So Many Legs, and I do buy from Portsmouth Tarantulas. I haven't bought anything from them for a while, but the top 3 places that I would personally go to are the Spider Shop, So Many Legs, and Portsmouth Tarantulas. So an interesting fact about myself, well, I don't think I'm that interesting, to be honest, but yeah, so I think probably the most interesting thing about me is my finger. I was born like this and it does not straighten. It does not straighten. No matter what you do, you can't straighten it out, and it will do this. So basically the skin is actually too tight, which is making the finger bend, and I could actually have an operation to straighten it out if I wanted to, but because it's my little finger, it's not really something that's like you really need to use. It doesn't bother me. Like I said, I was born with it, so I've got used to how it is, and yeah, interesting fact. So the tarantula I have chosen to do for this care guide, as you can obviously see by the title of the video, is a Caribena Versicolor, which again, as said earlier, was my first tarantula. So there are 3 different common names for this tarantula. The scientific name is the Caribena Versicolor. The common names I will put on the screen and you can read them. But a lot of pet shops will use the common names. A lot of pet shops don't actually know scientific names unless they are like a specific reptile invert shop. Whereas like if you go somewhere that's just got tarantulas along with like fish, rabbits, stuff like that, a lot of the time you will find that they will just use the common names. So this species of tarantula actually comes from South America, which makes it a New World tarantula. And New World tarantulas are known for urticating hairs or urticating satay. I think that's how you say it. So this is something that most tarantulas will kick into the air, make you irritated, itchy, but the Caribena Versicolor has type 2 urticating hairs, so these will more likely irritate you if you touch the tarantula. It's more of a contact sort of thing than kicking. They will kick, but they prefer to either shoot poo at you first. Yes, they shoot poo. Or then they will do the hairs, they will threat pose, obviously, so showing their fangs and hoping that you'll go away because they're big and scary. And then if they can't get away from you, the literal last resort will be a bite with venom. But there is actually not much research into their venom. A lot of tarantula forums just say that they reckon that the venom is quite mild of these tarantulas, but again, like I said, bites are very, very, very last resort for these tarantulas. So the temperament of this tarantula is actually quite docile, is what it has been classed as. So the Caribena Versicolor is known for one that a lot of people will handle. This also goes along with the avic avic, as the Caribena Versicolor was actually part of the Aviculata family, and then it is now a subfamily of the Aviculata, just because lots of research has shown that it's not actually the same, if that makes sense. But saying that, with them being docile, it's not always the case. You can actually get some moody tarantulas. They're not always going to be the same. I mean, like the avics, I've known people say that they're like the most docile thing ever, but we actually did own an adult female Aviculata, and she was moody. So you've just got to go with the temperament of your own tarantula and read your own tarantula that way. But saying that, I do not recommend handling. I don't think it's beneficial to the tarantula whatsoever. It doesn't do anything for the tarantula. They're not a type of animal that will form a bond with you. So in that way, I literally just leave them alone. Do what you need to do with them and just view them and take pleasure from how pretty they are. The average adult size of a Caribena Versicolor is a body length of 5 to 6 centimetres and a leg span of 13 to 15 centimetres. So these tarantulas are actually known as fast growers. And fast growers meaning they grow faster than most tarantulas. So I have had my Versicolor for 3 years now, and it is a good size, maybe sub-adult now. So that's actually pretty fast for a tarantula, whereas like your grammostolas, your brachypalmas, they are very slow growers, so that will take much longer for them to get to this size. Caribena Versicolors are actually arboreal tarantulas, so these will live vertically in trees, in branches, obviously on trees. They're not ones that will be found on the ground. You will find them higher up in areas that they can get to. The temperatures that are recommended for these are a day temperature of between 24 and 27 degrees Celsius and a night temperature of 20 to 24 degrees Celsius and a recommended humidity of 70%. So these come from a warm, humid area. So it has monsoon areas, it has monsoon periods, so it'll be having really heavy rain and then it'll just all dry out. So the recommended type of misting for this type of tarantula is misting one side of the enclosure every other day. So maybe like twice a week. That's what I do with mine, and I haven't had a problem. But with these tarantulas, as a sling, if they are kept way too humid, the slings will die. So as known with Avicularias, obviously Caribenas being a subfamily of the Avicularia now, they are very temperamental, and if they are kept humid they will die, unfortunately. So it is better just to mist one side of the enclosure and keep their substrate dry to slightly moist. So you don't want it soaking wet, you don't want it wet, basically. You just have to like give it little spritz. So all that being said, I would recommend this species as a beginner species, as well. It was my beginner and it's still here and she is thriving. She's recently molted and actually confirmed as a female now, so that's great because she was my first tarantula. Like, I do have a few that have molted out to be male, which sucks because the lifespan of a male is much less than a female. I will pop the lifespan of the Caribenas up here for you so you can see the difference between the females and the males. But yeah, they are a stunning tarantula. They change colours. It's really exciting to watch the colour changes between every single molt. So with all them facts out of the way, I will show you how I set up the enclosure for her, as I have actually just rehoused her into a bigger enclosure because of molting, and yeah, you will see the size of her compared to the old enclosure. So enjoy the video and I will pop some little facts on about her on the side. And I hope you like this video, and I hope you like the rest of the videos that are coming. There will be a special guest as the last episode, so there are 10 episodes of set known YouTubers, and then there is one bonus episode at the end of a very well-known YouTuber at the end. So it's like a special guest sort of thing. So there are 11 episodes in total of this series, but I will be doing more series in the future. So if you are actually interested in joining this series, wanting to do your own in this, then get in touch with me and we will sort something out, because I am getting ready to line up series 2. I do have merch, you can't actually see it, but I do have merch. This is my t-shirt. It comes in this violet lilac colour. We have grey and I have black as well. I also have mugs available, and the link for all these are in the description below if you actually want to get one. If you don't want to get one, it's absolutely fine, but they are there if anybody wants. So I've rambled on enough, so let's go into the video and I will see you next week. Thank you for watching. So while I was trying to get some photos of her on the table, she decided to run up and into the enclosure. So that was pretty easy, I guess, but I did want to show putting her in, but let's get some footage of her in there now.